I muted? Wah, ha, wah, wah. Did I... Dee dee hee hee. Wee doo dee dee. Hello. Hi. How loud is it? Decently loud? Okay, yeah. Sorry for starting like 20 minutes late. 20 minutes? Probably 30 minutes at this point. Yep. 30 minutes late. We're yapping tonight. It's Yaptacular. We're yapping. I was doing some technical difficulties because some sound looked and sounded weird. Hello? Is my preview? Okay, no, that was just me leaning outside of my, camera. Anyway, I had some, technical difficulties that I was fiddling with. Some shenanigans. I was fiddling with my audio, mostly. I felt like things were a little weird. I felt like I wound up adjusting some gain settings. I think it might have had something to do with an OBS update. It probably had something to do with changing how its gain and also various audio filters worked in the first place. And I thought the noise suppression filter that I was using for a while sounded crusty. Because it was like picking up, like there's like some background noise inherent to, I think it's just the microphone. I don't think it's like air conditioning stuff. I think it is like inside of the mic. I think it is the sound of the data going from the microphone through the cord. And that's fine. The noise suppression I picked actually uses less power, and I think it said it's lower quality, but I thought it decrusted my voice a little more. I don't know in the long term. I tested out some noises, while I was, mouth noises. I was making a lot of weird mouth noises while doing an audio test. In other news, the microphone can now pick up me whistling, so that's nice with this different sound filter. And I'm not sure if my snaps were always audible, but yeah. So I adjusted some audio settings while I was fiddling around, and before that, I got up to some wacky new shenanigans for curbing reasons. I've been curbing in the background. I went around and finished getting all the friend hearts in Star Allies, so that's fun. This is just, the whiteboard is empty for now. It exists. There will be, that's not a drawable layer. Let me do a drawable layer. We'll get to doodling in a bit. But some of the wacky things that I've been getting up to, let me show you. So I did some top secret espionage. Some nasty little because a friend and I, my buddy Con and I were talking about conlanging for Halcandra, because you know how it is. you know how it is with us weird lore Kirby freaks. Anyway, I wound up poking around, doing some doing some spy movie shit. Not really. And what do you mean did I? Oh, that's because how do you mean unsupported file format? Fuck you! There's these, load. Oh, load. Oh, no, some of them. That was just some of them. Did I export you as a weird file? Or did I could have sworn it was just PNGs that I dropped in. Support file. I didn't. Anyway, I ripped some textures from Kirby. Some of this stuff is mostly from Return to Dreamland Deluxe, because it's higher resolution than the, slightly higher res than the Wii version textures were. And I was enough of a obsessed freak weirdo loser in middle school that I can confirm to myself that this is, like, I don't need to go references back against the Wii textures, because that's basically exactly how I remember it looking. Just crisper. So, I also have, like, fanficky stuff on the mind. So I've got rip textures. So the images are small, because everything is optimized on videos, James. That's just how you do it. You make your picture small. And now that I think about it, I'm not entirely sure how I will get around my existing headcanons for how the Halcandran language works, and how to translate it into these specific characters, because I've had, like, some specific headcanons of how this shit all works for a long time. So, we are going to do... What's my, I don't actually know which stuff. Do I have a copy-paste? Oh, it's over there. I have save and redo. Okay, so I'll just copy-paste as usual with my fingers. We're gonna move stuff into the same... all into the same file together. And I'm also gonna... This isn't the only, application you'll see tonight. I'm also gonna pull up some age-old text files. Y'all are gonna get some premium weirdo shit tonight. Some premium top-tier nerdery. Weird language geek stuff. I'm gonna just keep copy-pasting that stuff. There it is. There's a button I was looking for. Now, I know that there's not, like, there's no way HAL Laboratories did, like, an official cipher for these. This is almost guaranteed to be, like, straight up gibberish. Did you? Oh, yeah. No, yeah, you're there. You're just hiding. Oh, there's that. And there's that. Yeah, okay, so that's because the lore keyboard was up in the corner. So we're just gonna go back up to the top. And the thing that inspired me to do this, because the conversation I had with my friend was specifically about some script that we actually see in Kirby's Star Allies in reference to Jambandra. There's like a seal, like a digital-looking seal around Jambandra in the final level, and it's got, like, some cool, spooky, like, script to it. And that's... No, that's, where else do I have it? It was a GIF file. Wait, there's no way you don't support GIF files, especially if they're still images, right? Right, Clip Studio? Okay, streaming software. And I'll deal with that later. I was having an idea of potentially piping in our music tonight directly from my Switch, and I never got around to doing that. What do you mean you don't support GIFs? Open with... Seriously? No! I mean, you can always re-rip it as a PNG, because that's what what I was using. So, let me go ahead and re-rip that. But, actually, I can probably just pop it into, like, window capture, image. Create new. Show source. It's just, I'm just gonna show it just, like, directly in my, in our viewport. Oh, I have a GIF version and I have a PNG. I beg thine pardon? I think the GIF is just freaking out in general, so we're going to... I'm just gonna delete that source. But I do have a PNG in there somewhere, Where are you? You are higher up in the folder. It was this one. And because we were talking about, like, it was we were talking about Jambandra and Halcandra. Halcandra text has more reference to it, Jambandra has less. Highness has, like, little symbols along the texture of his, his cloak. He's got, the gold trim has letters on it. He's got, like, embossed letters. I can't remember if embossed is pressed in or pushed out. Highnesses are pushed out. It's, like, extra embroidery or something. And, like, papered over with gold leaf. But I'm mostly doing this with Halcandran stuff tonight. So we are going to... I can deal with some of this later, where I can, like, pick out the glyphs. Yeah, so a few more instances of this appeared in Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This blue text was used on Fiery Puffer's belly. You might have heard me freak out about that if you saw that episode. These two were actually graffiti and glyphs in the background of Booming Blasters, which is one of the minigames in Merry Magoland. Now, I think the number of glyphs available is relatively small, and the way they, like, increased the number of them was, like, rotating it around. And I mean, we do that in the English language, like, mind your P's and Q's, D and B, lowercase d and b. That's also a music genre. Ho 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 ho. I am so funny. I am a paragon of humor nobody gives a shit about. Giving you some examples of some of the mouth sounds I was getting up to, except in musical form. I mean, fuck it, why not put this in there? You guys just put it in a different folder. I can fiddle around with it later tonight. So I'm gonna put that in its own folder, and I'm gonna make that. Then I'm going to select all this shit back. You can't actually see it. I only have it set so that it only shows the working area. And then create folder and insert layer. So now they're all together. They're all one big happy family. Now, I could probably pick some slightly more appropriate music. Let's go inside the lore. Actually, do I have... No song is currently playing. How about you start? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Not very good at letting me dance my avatar around. Maybe I should, like, pop another preview on it. One of these days I will improve technology that I use for myself. Why is my keyboard in Japanese right now? Hello! What was it? Right click to open. What is it? Left Alt Shift? That I had? Yeah! I must have done that and not realized it. No. English alphabet, please. Onegaishimasu! I need to practice my Japanese. I've let that shit get so rusty. I don't know, a couple words. I never fucking bothered to... Why is my Ko-fi alert so smacked up against the side of the screen? Why are you doing that? You should be right there. That's more like it. Renaming folders because I'm probably like one of the fucking 5% of artists in the world who actually names their layers and files in ways that are comprehensible, and that's because if I didn't, I would never be able to find them again. Now. Beep 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 bop. So what's interesting is that we also have... Oops, excuse me, that's a little too zoomed in. We have this warning that shows up on Magalor's screen as, like, an emergency alert. And it's interesting because you can kind of tell that that is the same script a little bit. But it is in a different font. And I think this is the only time that this script appears in a different font in the whole game. And it was in the original. This texture was also in the Wii version. Which is interesting because I think they probably would... Like, they did the graphic design to make a secondary font for this, for the warning text, but everything else is in this more basic blocky square font. There's a little bit of difference on the script you see on Fatty Puffer's belly. You can see how some of it, like, pokes past itself a little bit. Like, you see, like, there's, like, a 1 or 2 pixel difference right here at the corner. And, I'm not sure if this glyph... Yeah, I think actually this glyph is in the others, but, like, you see, like, this... Like, it's not perfect squares. Like, this one is slightly taller than this one. It's interesting to note those font differences, because it's good to think about it in terms of what the text may have looked like originally. So, like, you can compare a lot of our modern-day fonts to what Latin script looked like carved directly into stone on Roman ruins, for example. And, like, why it would look like that, and why they would make it, why they would choose to make it look like that. And how did it differ from their everyday handwriting, and stuff like that. I don't know what these little blue lines are, because this is, like, the way this, script lines goes around on Fatty Puffer is that it, like, goes around in a circle. So, these might just be, like, to make the texture look slightly better, or they might just be dead space and might not even be included in the UVs, but that is something that is there. I'm going to ignore it for now. For, like, language purposes, I'm going to assume it is just a technical doohickey. It's technical stuff. It's just stuff that is in the game. Beep bop beep bop boop bop beep. Now for each of the stage ones where each individual part is, I'm actually gonna crop all of those individually, so that, because that's all I really have to deal with. I might do the same with the Landy a bit, but there's, like, only one line of text in each of those, so it's not as huge a deal. Could probably go dig up some of my old paper notes from middle school, but I don't want to do that right now. It's, like, buried in a file folder somewhere. I have to put in, like, a whole, like, several hours of work in advance just to have that stuff ready. But I did spend some time, like, trying to read the textures myself and, like, recreate them. That melody's from... that wasn't Kirby, that was fucking the Chow Garden. Oops. Not oops. I like it when songs can slide together like that. My floor towards some graffiti. They are all the way over there. That's fine. For some modded Chow Garden stream. I need to play a bunch of Sonic games first. I want to play a bunch of Sonic games first. I know I don't technically need to, but I want to. Hello? Fiery Puffer script? Okay. Add some layers. Do some wacky things in my brain. Accidentally pasted something twice. And erased something, so I just had an empty layer filling around. And I'm also going to crop out all the rest of the Booming Blasters graffiti. Because as cute as it is, it's not relevant to our activities tonight! Little DVD hand, that's cute. I'll probably crop out a little more of the black, honestly. I am going to split for just a moment and grab some water. I need some water. I'm talking more than I realized I would. Very chatty tonight. Luckily, that's a good thing. That's what it's all about. This is the Yaptacular night. Anyway, BRB. Now, I think I'm gonna pick a specific pen for this. Where's the calligraphy pen? Yeah! Okay. Let's look at the degrees. Right now, it's at a 60-degree angle. What if I wanted it to be at a 90-degree angle? What's our resolution on this? Like, it's a bit small, ain't it? Why don't you do that? I need to, like, configure some settings so that Clip Studio dialog boxes always pop up on the same screen, because they don't always. They pop up on my other monitor for some inexplicable reason. No, we have a... Is that just because I have anti-aliasing? Whoa, or is that just how the... Oh yeah, actually pretty low res. Let's double our resolution and potentially drop frames because I am overtaxing the GPU. It's fine, we'll be fine. La 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 la. Cube. Cube. Actually, I think I probably, instead of having like the flat calligraphy brush, what are the original settings for this? No, yeah, 60 is the default. Wee woo. I should probably just have like a straight square brush. Do I have one of those? There's pixel pen part 1. What happens when I make you big? You are a circle brush, but just very low res. Because you have all the anti-aliasing turned off. Do I have... Then I have, like, my dither pen. Is it really pixel... I think, yeah, really it only works if you're, like, drawing at extremely low resolutions. Dithering! Not what we're looking for tonight. Cube. I require a cube! I require a cube. La 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 la. La ba 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 da 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 da. Ha ha ha. La 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 la. I do not want to duplicate the felt pen, please. We're duplicating marker pen. I'll call it block marker because I can. What kind of pictures can I apply to it? Ink pen. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a big old chunky marker picture because that is technically what it is. Okay, now let me look at those subtool settings. Tool property. Gonna. Boy. La 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 la. Brush size, yeah. This 5 by 7 on the screen. I don't care. Color jitter. Brush shape. Brush tip. Circle. Material. Yay! Materials! File new. Our brush tip shape is gonna be. We're gonna do a 50 by 50 pixel new thing. Just because. Do I have a square in my materials library already? Hang on. La 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 la. Square? I have 2 of them. So technically, I don't even need it. It didn't even need to make that extra image. Tip shape. You should be over here. You can't see the dialogue boxes, so sorry if it's gonna look like a whole lot of nothing right now. Square. Why do I have 2 of the same? I mean, cool. Why do I have two of the same? Cube! Cube. Brush tip shape. Honestly, I might turn on the setting that changes the, like, this doohickey to, like, the shape of the brush. Hang on. Would that be under preferences for the whole software? Because that's kind of what I remember. Preferences. Ew. The dialog box. There's a cursor. Brush type cursor. Brush size. Additional display. When brush size cursor small. Cursor details. Change brush cursor. Ooh. That's fancy. But that's also not what I wanted. Cursor. Brush type cursor. Brush size. Okay. View type cursor. Tool specific. Fill type cursor. Tool specific. Eraser type cursor. Tool specific. I think I might make this all tool specific. Brush size and tool specific. Okay. What is the difference between brush size and tool specific and pen type cursor, tool specific? What if I do It's a tool specific. Okay, so what does it look like when I do... Okay, now that's what tool specific looks like. I don't want that. Nope. Preferences? My preferences? Clip Studio, my preferences? Preferences. Cursor, not tool specific. I want brush size and tool specific. Oh no, I want brush shape. And tool specific cursor. Okay, so that's just a cursor type. Brush shape. Yeah, I just want brush shape. Brush shape. Give me brush shape. That seems reasonable. I think I'm just want to do that from now on. Yay! It's a square! Wow! I can see exactly where the square goes when I do the square. Yay! Okay. One of the first things I want to start with is... Where the fuck is it? There's my layer. Where did I put the layer? There it is. Keyboard! We are going to be examining the keyboard of our favorite keyboard cat tonight. Na 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 na. Ha ha ha. What did I... Brush tip? Circle? Hang on, let me... It's like... There's some stuff going on. Square. That's square number 1. What happens when I pick square number 2? Square. Yeah, okay, now I can change colors. I can pick colors. Okay. Sometimes you have monotone brushes, and it's like a material setting embedded really deep, and if you want to fix that, you have to, like, fiddle with the brush tip. It's a lot. It's a lot. There's only so much technical bullshit I want to get up to, between the actual meat of the meat, which is, you know, okay. I think I could probably afford to make my, let's do a 20 pix brush. Okay. I'm gonna crank up my stabilization. Is 30 good enough? 30 is the kind of shit... maybe I should just do 0 and just have it follow the shape of my hand. Because you've got... Because a lot of the symbols get repeated. So you get this... This one's iconic. It's pretty easy to see coming from Moonwise. It's got the GI. Look. There's this thing, which actually has like a little dupe. Actually, I did that a little high. Probably put them further apart. I might crank up my stability again. I think the usual default stability is fine. La 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 la. I'm trying to spell fucking Helcantrip. We're not that far yet. We are simply copying the symbols that are available to us from the video game. We have not decided what phonemes and morphemes they apply to. Okay, I just have my tablet at a weird angle. Ugh. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. I had like a weird crick in my neck and I had to snap it out. Success. But then there's this doohickey, which goes like this, but then it has like a little bump out, and I'm not sure how I feel about the bump out. I'm not sure if I should be like that could be a font thing. It could also be like done like this or this. So I don't know if it's like this. So like I'm not sure if there should be a font difference, but I'm gonna copy it as we see it right here, and then I'm gonna do a couple variants on the same layer. We've got that. It's got that. And it's got like a little bit of... It's a little bit trapezoidy. Not trapezoidy, but it's got like a little notch taken out. And then you got like that. And so what I like for that is that I think a more natural way to do this could be this. Like this. Or this. Because you gotta consider how different handwriting looks, how different stylization looks, because this one's interesting. This little doohickey, that little doohickey. It's just like a circle. Well, it's not a circle, it's a square, but it's got like a little notch taken out of it at the top. But there are some parts of the script where it's the same thing but rotated, so the notch might be like this one's notch is closer to the top left. Sometimes it's rotated and you'll see it like this. And then sometimes you'll see it with the notch towards the top right as well. I think I might crank my stabilization back up. Just so I'm not like, whoa. Just so the messiness of my handwriting can be put under control a little bit. At least this. My handwriting is considerably less messy when it's like directly pencil to paper. Unless I'm going really fast, then I can get messy. But I think that's true for everyone. So I think with this, it's like, And honestly, this little bit here could be a serif, and might not actually be necessary for the coherency of the... Maybe that could be like a different font consideration, but we're gonna copy it as best we can. I'm gonna hold my tablet in my lap. I said I was gonna scoot back, not lean the back of my chair back. What is happening? Get a little cozy. Get a little bit cozy. I'm not sure if I should be going for the 20 pixel. Maybe I should be just downsized a little bit so I could, like, something that's more coherently square-shaped. And you got this. I meant to make another layer. I also meant to do it over here. You got this. And one of the reasons I wonder if this one is, more like this or has a more blocky look, because there's this. And I wonder if those could be considered slightly different. Or if it's more like a rotated version of the same thing again. Because then you've got this. It's definitely got a little block there, and then it's got this thick thing on the bottom, and then that goes there, and it's got like a little notch up to connect it, and then the vertical line. Then this again. This actually gets rotated a couple times in some other place. GI. Block. Then you have a variant on it, which is just this. And you have this, the Z repeat, the GI repeat, this thingy, the box. You got a repeat of this. Yeah, so they only made... That's basically the whole keyboard right there is this. And that's like a good number of glyphs to make things make sense from a... I'm trying to... Okay. Okay, so I can see some of the things that have been rotated around in, like, some of the other monitor scripts. So I am going to notice. Floor warning should be separate, parts should be separate, but these doohickeys should be separate, and graffiti and floor glyphs should be separate. They're also gigantic. But there's these doohickeys, and they should probably all live in the same layer. So I'm going to head and merge those layers. Except for that one. And I'm going to pull this one. Because it, like, got... Let's see... There you are. Then we're going to merge that with that. So now these little guys all exist together. So zoom out a bit. Move the keyboard, like, made the keyboard visible. I'm actually going to move it back up here in the corner. And then take this doohickey. And since I'm going to be moving things around, I'm actually probably going to... merge a couple other layers. So I'm going to merge these two windows together. They just sit side by side. Like so. And then the warning can be its own thing. Where'd my fucking cursor go? Where'd it go? There you go. There it went. I'm actually gonna move the Fiery Puffer script way off over here because that's not... I'm gonna move it over with its with the other remake text. Because what's interesting about these little details over here is that some of them are rotated around. Some of them are not, but some of them are. So this is like, this little guy, this notice is the same thing that was on the keyboard, in that same order, actually. They did get interesting because there's now this. Whoa, excuse me. You're going off to Raisin Ruins. Why the fuck not, right? There's that. A backwards version, or a rotated version of this. So that's interesting. And then you have a rotated version of what I've been calling the GI, which makes, because it looks like the letters G and I. But this is the other way. And then we have the same two bars. And then we have a rotated version of the magnet shape, little, hook shape with this. And we have a rotated version of the Z glyph yet? Yes, we do. In Onion Ocean. The map music can get a little annoying. I might skip this one. Come on, give me that good shit. Yeah! And so I think having these rotated glyphs is very interesting. And it's an interesting way to expand the bounds of, like, if you're working on a conlang for yourself, and you're trying to come up with a script, rotating bits around is a great way to, like, add more characters to your script, because a ton of languages do it. Like, it's not just English, like the Latin alphabet it does it, Hiragana does it too. Like, Chi and Sa are each other, but backwards. Zerk Splatoon headcanon someday. I am not actually going as hard in Splatoon as I do for Kirby. I play the games more than I have actually, like, made anything for them. And that's, like, the curse of being... Is that a conscript? This... sort of? I'm trying to take the sort of gibberish conscript that Hal put together for Halcandrin in Kirby's Return to Dreamland and turn it into a conscript. So I'm just, like, grabbing the stuff from the games so I can refer back to it. Because there's gonna be stuff that's repeats, and I want to, like, make sure I'm not repeating anything. But I also want to see, like, what stuff is the same but rotated, or otherwise. There's this version. There's this one now. La, 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 la. There's a backwards version of... I already make a new layer. I did. It's this. And there's this. I'm gonna go ahead and, like, block it up so it's a little more coherent that way. And I can refer back to it as what I think it looks like in the game. Whereas before I could probably just do, like, this. Or this. I think it's probably a little different depending on someone's handwriting. See? There's another one of those circles. I'm, like, referring back to these to make sure I'm not duplicating any characters. But there's another version of the square with the notch taken out of it, except this time it's in the top right instead of the top left. Right there, in, the white wafers one. There's another rotated version of the doohickey. I think it's this one, but, like, 90 degrees. So that would be... yeah. But the one that was in the top left has already been covered over here. And then there's, I think that's the... I think this one might be Nutty Noon, actually, and not White Wafers. This blue, light blue, might be Onion Ocean, like, White Wafers. This might be Onion Ocean, and this might be Nutty Noon. Because I think this is the color of the clouds in that screenshot on Magalore's monitor. So GI, and I think... have I recorded this type of this variant? I think I've recorded its mirror image. And other rotations. So I think this is the final rotation, which would be like this. And then it's got the 2 bars again. And then it's got... Is it like a flipped version of this? Or is it... It's this again. It's this. Okay. So that's those. I don't think I saw any repetitions there. We're gonna have a lore warning. And I'm gonna put these side by side just because. Now what's gonna be interesting is that there are some other rotations available here. But there's some, like, totally new ones because of how big these particular glyphs get to be, because they were just splayed out on the floor of booming blasters. So that's interesting. And then on the warning screen, what's interesting is you get, like, some serifs, so, like, the glyphs are slightly different. And I'm not sure if I can match any of the glyphs to any of, like, these other things, but I feel like I should. So I wonder what kind, like, this could tell us something interesting about the script. I'm gonna give it its own layer, actually. Warning script. And I'm gonna try to decode it into the more blocky font that these others use. Because the way I see it, oh, nope, it's still under everything else. I have to be aware of that. Because I see this. And then further details are, like, just, like, based on the font. Because this has, like, little, beveled edges here and there. But I feel like if I'm going to try to match these to the same, language, then I feel like I should be working on trying to match the vibes and, like... Because some things can be stylistic little flourishes, and some of them might be, like, actual... information. This could also just as easily be like this or this. Well, it can't be that because that's what the first one is. They've clearly separated. So if it was meant to be separated and it just isn't, then it probably not. Wait, but hey! I am parsing things. I'm parsing things from ripped textures. We are having a grand old time with ripped textures. La, 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 da, 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 da. Why is layer 16 empty? It's not, it's just way over here. Putting you back where you were, because you were correct the first time. So, I feel like these characters are gonna cover most... I mean, there might be some more rotations that I haven't recorded yet, so I should probably poke around at those. Did I hit undo? Did I hit new layer? This is GI, but upside down. So we had a backwards one over here. I think this is the first time we've seen it where it's like this. This first character corresponds to that. This is another rotation of it, but I think I grabbed that back over here. This is this. This is backwards GI. Ooh, no, it's a little bit, there's different kind of backwards. This is backwards and these two are upside down, but backwards in different ways. And this is just backwards, so that'll be that. And then... I think we got all of our rotations of these. And I know I should probably sort these. I should probably go ahead and sort them. We've got this. Oh, that's my selection tool and not my move tool. There's that. I'm gonna put this with these. We're gonna put them with their friends. I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have this. It's a little spot. I have this in its own little spot. The twin bars are kind of their own thing. Oh, not the one I selected. Twin bars are kind of like their own thing, and I don't think we get a whole lot of rotations of the Z glyph. Nope, wrong layer. Have its own little spot. This can have its own little spot. This is friends with that. That's the rotated GI. You're friends with that. You are friends with that. What did I meant to move the double bars again. I'll move double... Up. 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 I'm gonna start naming these layers, because I'm getting lost, because it's just layers 1 through 17. I'm gonna at least name double bars what it is. So double bars, it's gonna be that. And then... Where am I? Okay. This is our reversed Z glyph. Double bars, I'm actually gonna move double bars up. Or, like, I'm gonna move double bars down here. Okay, so... Z glyph, that's our reversal Z glyphs. We're friends with this guy. Oh. Oh. Am I? I want you to be over here. Pretty sure this goes with this. I think these might be rotated versions of each other. This goes with this. This goes with this. I think. Maybe. I actually don't think so. I think this might be more its own thing. This is a Magnet Buddies. This is another GI. Nope. And that's as far as we've gotten so far. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, now I've lost track of where I am. I'm gonna save this so I don't lose it all. Boop, 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 boop. Ba, ba, da, da. Yeah, these are mirrored versions of each other. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I'm doing Kirby script nonsense. Here's another one of these that goes like this. It's like this little guy. Thick, chonky boy. Kinda like that. Put everybody. Where did I put everybody? Layer 7. You were layer 7. I'm actually gonna put you over here. La 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 There we are. There you are. Layer 16. Put you over here with these guys. Because the vibes are similar. They're different, but they're similar. I'm trying to figure out where I grabbed it from. Oh, I grabbed it from here. So there's, this. And I think these are rotated versions of each other and not of these, because they don't have the, so you're layer 16, where did I find you? You go over here. So that's where you were going with. That's where I was going with this. Yeah, okay, that looks a little more comprehensible. There's this version. There's this version. Oh, that looks ugly. Kind of hard to get the exact style down with raw handwriting. La 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 la. It makes sense that there's two versions of this, and then these two. Like, then there's two versions where it's the weird slanted L on the big chunk on top and the thin chunk on the bottom. And we have another one of these! Actually, I wonder if I should, like, draw the whole square. And then... Yeah, but we have one that has a notch in the bottom this time. La la la. We have another one of these. Like that. Because it's right there. I think we have all the possible rotations of... Because I think they just rotated it. I don't think they... Well, some of them look like they may have flipped them, so... also pretty consistent in how, like, the prongs of this U shape are always facing towards the this L-shaped corner. I feel like the last... Oh. What is my thing freaking out for? La 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 la. La 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 la. I have to make sure it exists, though. Because I feel like this, the last remaining one for, oops, excuse me, would be this. And would have this as an option. And I feel like logically, considering where I'm going with this, it might exist based on, like, just... It's theoretically something I could come up with as I expand on the language. Because I have a specific thing in mind that I want to talk about once I, start discussing the actual structure of the language in greater detail. I do, as far as, like, 4 rotations for pretty much every glyph, I think that's all of it. There's probably one more rotation where it's a notch on the other side that I could probably find. Yep, there it is. Let me check to see if I'm still in my previous layer. I am! Wah wah Actually, for the stuff that isn't attested, but I can assume exists, we're gonna color it a different color. So I'm gonna color it kind of like a dull reddish tone. And then we can color it back in if we find it. And then for this, I'm gonna assume something like this exists. But everything else has all 4 rotations. Except for the Z-glyph, but the Z-glyph is mirrored back and forth, and, I think the Z-glyph might be present in more stuff. So let me... Okay, so if I'm gonna pull Landia down here. More warning, I'm gonna move this back up here. Monitor S, I'm gonna move this back up here. And then parts. I'm gonna move parts off to the side because it's big, nice, and high res. Actually, you know what's interesting about this? What if... like, I don't know if this is drawn vertical or not, or if this... Okay, so this is a valid Z-glyph, based on what we have. This is a new one, but the way it's, like, the shape of the rectangle makes it think that it is, in fact, like, upright, like that. So, this is a new alternate Z-glyph. It's just, vertical instead of horizontal like these guys. And these little stripes on the side are horizontal instead of vertical. But we're gonna get to that in a bit. Some of this is not legible, by the way. Some of this I cannot read. So I'm just gonna have to rely less on the blurry, like, actual filler text. Some of it's recognizable as some of the same text. Like, I can't even tell what that is. Fucking... this thing? I can't read that. You probably can't see my cursor too well. But this is one of the GIs. But this is blurred, so I can't see it. This is a GI. This is a line in a square. This is one of those doohickeys that has the slanted lines I keep complaining about. But yeah, some of it... it's repeated again here. So there's 2 in 1, but the resolution is low enough that I can't really pick it out. So, for stuff that is slightly too low res for me to read, I'm gonna assume it's something I already have, for the sake of my own sanity. I think we are, in fact, seeing more of the same. Yeah. I'm not seeing evidence of this rotation of this character, and based on my headcanons about how the Halcandron script works, which we'll get into in a bit, this might not be valid from a phonotactics standpoint, so we'll talk about that in a bit. But that means, if it's not valid from a phonotactics standpoint, I will have to decide how it fits into the phonotactics of the language I want to build around this, and what those phonotactics are, and the stuff that I'm willing to exclude from it, and therefore that will influence what letters each of these 3 lines that make up the character represent. And also, this could be like a highly chunky, digitized font. Oh, it does appear on Fatty Puffer, so... maybe it's clearer than I recognize. I don't know. If it appears on Fatty Puffer at all, that means it has magical provenance. That definitely throws a wrench into things. In turn, lore-wise. Yeah, Landia is a bust. I'm seeing, all the stuff I'm seeing there is all the stuff we've seen so far. So that's all the stuff we already have. Now things are gonna get interesting once we get into this, because some of it, once we get into the Fatty Puffer stuff, because some of it is stuff we have already seen, and some of it is not. So that's gonna be interesting. Okay, let's take... I'm looking for this, and I'm looking for this. So... Good news, you finally got to do your Question of Wilds without crashing. Oh, good! Yeah, Wilds is... Nothing makes my computer sound like a jet engine taking off. I am a little scared to stream it again, honestly. Lore parts are all the same. Andy, I'm gonna put you right here. Lore parts, we're gonna put you up. Cram this in there, yeah. Put Landy a little further up. And also, I should clarify that we have this. From the warning screen. Actually, I should... yeah. And I think this is probably punctuation, but also I wonder if it could be like a rounded version of this, which does appear like that. So let's find out. Pull it out of the folder and put it next to warning script. I'm gonna call it an exclamation point for now. But the way it's included here, and it also has its own rotated form. So that'll make things interesting. So I want to get my move tool back. It's not what I fucking meant. You go there again, and you stay in. I grabbed something and dragged it and didn't mean to. Actually, we're gonna take the graffiti first. The graffiti and the, and the, glyphs from Booming Blasters. So we have this now. How fun! And then we have some totally new ones. We've got this. We've got this. Which is like this, but in a little hat. One of the reasons I suggested it could be maybe rotated, because this would make it the normal this. And then this would be the same thing, because it's got the same eye shape as the GI thing. And then this would be like an alternative to the GI. Maybe I should take it like this. Because that... Do I have something... Let me see. Re-rotate. Yeah, holy shit! That's the same character, but in a different font that we saw on the warning screen. This guy. So, I think I might strike this horizontal S glyph from the record. And then... we're gonna assume... that the text we see on the floor of... Booming Blasters is rotated 90 degrees horizontally. So what I think, it looks actually like this. And it matches this, the graffiti! So that actually makes way more sense to me. So the S and Z glyphs are now still the only two versions. They just flip horizontally. There isn't like a rotated version. And you saw me like drawing it very carefully when I was trying to do the rotated version. That's because the first couple times I did it, I thought it looked a little bit like a swastika. So I'm happy I don't have to include it. I'm happy I found a way around it that doesn't involve that. So that does mean we have glyphs that look like this. Presumably we may have rotated versions of them very soon. This is confirmed as a thing that can be. Because I think it looks similar to this glyph from the warning screen, and therefore I feel like I can include it and point at it and go, yeah, that's the same letter. And then we have a variation that doesn't use this eye glyph, but a straight line. But it uses this portion of the GI glyph. It uses this rotated one. So, that's neat. And that also further plays into my headcanons. So I think it might be, since I'm actually starting to get to it, because like these are the same, these are the same as these, the unrotated S-glyph, and this is new, but it is also attested in the Fatty Puffer script, so we're gonna get there, and some of the new glyphs are there, like this. There's this one with the blocked off square with he's in a little house next to the eye instead of the usual GI. And I will compare and contrast those with the script we currently have. But we'll get to that in a sec. So for the graffiti and the floor glyphs, I'm just gonna make those I'm gonna just turn off the visibility for that, because that's gonna be a pain in the ass. They're big. Hello. You're getting to this. So I'm gonna actually explain where I was going with this. I'm gonna crack open the browser for just a moment. See if I got my term. Yes, I want to continue watching. Listen to my Kirby music. Okay, so incidentally, there's some funny things about this. I think this script works like Korean Hangul. Interestingly, I came up with the idea for that each one of these, like, individual lines, like, radical... I'm gonna start calling... letters. I'm gonna call them letters. I'm gonna call them radicals, because that is... radicals are the, like, pieces of Chinese characters, and I feel like that, will help separate them out instead of just calling each one of these letters, because that might be a little confusing if we think the whole thing is a letter instead of, like, only the stuff that is connected to itself is a letter. But I think this language works like Korean Hangul. So the way that works is that a bunch of individual letter-like characters come together to form a singular symbol. So if you've ever seen Korean script, you will notice that, like, each, like, letter, like, each, like, if you've seen it digitally, you will see it that it's, like, each letter contains multiple parts. The way Korean does that is, it's like each of those is an individual letter, and then the entire character they combine into is the syllable. So, and whether stuff combines into syllables and, like, might have a multi-character meaning. So, like, these boxes would technically be 2 letters, where this is one letter and this is another. Oh god, that's horrible. But that's why I was talking about, ooh, this could be like this, because this is this is a separate letter from this, is a separate letter from this, and they can be individually combined into, well, like, I think that this one, so, like, this is also, but, like, it can be combined into this or this. So these would probably be the same vowel sound, but with a different consonant attached. And I haven't yet decided if this is 2 letters or 1. So, this could, has a thing where, like, each of these are probably the same letter, but this is, the S glyph in the middle, or the Z glyph, is what goes between them. And I haven't fully decided. I might actually go and do more research into Hangul, because I don't actually know a whole lot about, how the Korean alphabet works. But, to see how they choose to combine those things together, because I think it was, like, like a lot of East Asian countries, they used Chinese script for a long time, up until, like, they decided to switch it up. And the way Korean works is that I think it was, like, one of their kings, like, decided, okay, I want a specific, unique, and relatively easy-to-learn script for my language, for my people. I'm doing with Korean language with Hypochondrian dialect. No. I'm saying they have the same style of alphabet. They still speak their own language. I'm gonna be making its own language. Or I'm gonna, at least a chunk of its own language. I probably wouldn't be able to make the whole thing, but, like, it's gonna be its own thing. I'm talking about how I need to do more research into the Korean script, because I want to see, like, the rules for how each individual little bit of the letter combines, like, each individual letter bit combines into a whole character, because I need to know, like, the kind of writing rules for Halcandrin, and, like, the idea of, like, what kind of stuff is phonotactically acceptable, the shape of the letters might actually influence that going along, but I will have to consider how that will make certain words, shaped once I actually get around to it, because, like, how am I gonna spell Magalor's name in the script? My best guess is that it would probably be a 3-character... It would probably be, like, a 3-character term, and it would probably be Magalor. And this would have, like, 2 bits, 2 bits, 3 bits. Because some of these letters are formed of 3 bits, and some of them are formed of 2 bits. And that just depends on, like, how the syllables are, and that leaves the 3-bit symbols leaves open for, like, space for, like, diphthongs and, certain consonant combinations, or syllables that start and end with a consonant instead of being, like, vowel, consonant, vowel. Because for the 2-bit stuff, it's usually going to be consonant, vowel, but, I don't know if vowel consonant will also be a valid combination for a 2-bit character. We'll have to see. But that's kind of, like, where I was going. So, like, if I wanted to break all of these up into specific glyphs, it would probably... Like, if I wanted to divide all the letters up, let me make a new thing. It would be, like, this, 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 this. I'm not sure how I feel about having the 4 different squares all the way. Maybe there might be, like, something weird about that I could do. I don't know. And then, like, this would be its own letter. This would be its own letter. This would be its own letter. Stuff like that. And I'm not sure how much the different, like, rotated versions are going to be related to each other. Because there's, like... Think about how lowercase p, d, b, and q work. P and b are both plosives. One is voiced and one is unvoiced. D and B are both stops, and they are both voiced, but one is a plosive and the other is, dental, I think? I don't know my phonics words off the top of my head, I'm just kind of, spitballing based on what I have. But, like, for example, another part that, like, shows how things are the same letter, this would be the same glyph as this. Which in turn would be this probably, like, maybe this, I don't know. I actually haven't decided if there's going to be a difference between this and this. But I think the way it's all, like, contained into a square might have an influence on how certain glyphs are. But, like, yeah, for stuff like this, it's going to help me determine how many letters there are in... How many letters and how many sounds there are in the language. Like, for example, you can have s and sh be 2 different letters. Not necessarily. In English, it's represented by, sh and s. With sh being 2 letters. And it makes sense because, like, H is like a breathy sound, and sh is a breathier sound than s, but they're, like, pronounced in the same part of the mouth. Like, with not that much difference. There's, like, a little bit of tongue difference, and a little bit of, like, lip difference. On how you let the air escape your mouth. So, it's... But, like, in other languages, they can be, they can be related like that. They can be related, they can be unrelated. Some English is weird because spelling doesn't always, like, match the phonetics. And that's because English is a weird-ass Frankenstein language with a bajillion loanwords. But, yeah. That's the gist of what I am going for. And I am going to continue by grabbing stuff from here. I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna delete it for now. I can always redo it later. I'm gonna start grabbing stuff from the Fatty Puffer script. So we've got this. It's almost kind of in the middle. It's a little bit offset, but, like, not really. And the offset... I think the fact that there's only one version and the only other rotated version of this is upside down, helps. This, we've already seen. This has a square instead of a line, but it's still this. We have this character again. This is new! That's new. I like that a lot. I like having more characters to work with. That's fun. Don't know why it never saw any use of the... Well, I know outside of the lore why it didn't see any use in the lore, and that's because HAL Laboratory hadn't made it up yet. But in-universe, I wonder if there's, like, a dialect change, if this is, like, an older version of the script that got used with more magic, and that's why it got infused on a creature from space. And then we have that. We have this again. We've got this. I like the little hook. We have a hook glyph now. We have this. What's it? We have like a sideways T shape, so that's nice. One more thing to work with. We have this. That's our S-glyph. It's our friend. We have all of these. We found this from the graffiti. It's one of our GI. We have these again. Now what's interesting, on the lore, it was depicted font-wise as like this. But this was like trapezoidal. And here it's like this has like it had like a mirror trapezoidal thing. But there it's cute. It's like chunky top down, and then this goes under. So that'll be interesting to figure out. I'm gonna do this in its own little spot right next to it because it's relevant. I think those are two different ways of drawing the same character. I think it's this one and this one. I kind of half-assed it here, but you get the idea. There's our two bars. There's this is this. We've got our ring with a notch again. Got this doohickey again. We've got our hook. This has finally been attested. It's right there. Maybe that's also archaic. Could be fun. Now let's see for stuff. Maybe I should, like, color stuff in that, like, what if it is archaic? That could be something we consider. La 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 la. La 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 la. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? There you are. We'll do that. We will make stuff that's... Let's color in all of the stuff from the remake that's specifically in the remake blue. Which means I have to go back and do some stuff. Oh, right. I needed to lock my transparent pixels. I'm gonna say this isn't exclusive to the remake because it was in the lore's warning screen. However, the lore is canonically an ancient bit of technology, so technically I probably could go around and get around that and say, yeah, that's actually pretty archaic. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep it specific to which game it comes from, rather than supposed in-universe age. You are blue. Blue be upon ye. What is this? Yes, that's our hook. You're that. We'll leave that there. And this was our latest layer. Okay, and I'm gonna keep going in blue because of reasons. There are a lot of repeats on Fatty Puffer. Which is how I recognized the script in the first place. I was like, oh, I know that made-up language that doesn't actually have a language attached. Ooh, there's a rotated version of the hook glyph. Interestingly, it's like along the bottom of the model and not readily visible. So I wonder what that's all about. Oh, a lot of stuff is mirrored. I think it might just be... Yeah, it's just this top row, but flipped upside down. Not that I'm mad, it does technically mean... because it's rotated around the middle, so I'm still convinced that that counts. Because rotating textures to make more characters is how they've been doing this whole time. So we have this. We have a rotated hook with notch. Makes me wonder if we'll get one of those. We get an upside down version of this, so we get this. We got this. got this. Got our upside down hook again. Got this thing again. Thinking very hard about the stuff that is in front of my eyeballs. Straightening my pattern recognition muscles so that I'm not missing anything. Because I'm so good at missing stuff when I'm looking at it for hours on end. Lads, I do think that is indeed all of it. So that's a pretty solid base I have to work with. And to close it out, I think I'm gonna see if I can transcribe some Jambandra nonsense. The ancient texts! Now, to close out the night, we are going to do... Come on, work with me. I'm gonna do some fiddling with some... Actually, this probably isn't going to be very interesting to look at, and I probably won't be able to decide if this is vertically, like, if it's, like, rotated script, or if it's actually written vertically, unless I have, Highness's texture to compare it to. Yeah, I think I could probably do this some other time. But I made good progress on this. So I can start picking this apart on a deeper scale in my own time. And we'll see how that turns out. Thank you for joining me for my extremely, extremely dweeby choice of subject matter tonight. So I am going to head out. I'm going to sleep. I will see y'all some other time. Farewell. Have a wonderful weekend. Goodbye.